There's been a growing undercurrent of disturbing curiosity surrounding the once publicly celebrated relationship between Sean Diddy Combs and pop icon Justin Bieber, especially during the early years of Bieber's meteoric rise to fame. The dynamic between the music mogul and the teenage singer was often viewed through the rose-tinted glasses of celebrity mentorship, the seasoned hip-hop figure guiding the next generation of talent. But beneath the glitz, private jets, and late-night studio visits, a new and troubling light has been cast over the nature of their connection, prompting many to ask, was there more going on than met the eye? The renewed scrutiny has been sparked, in large part, by the ongoing legal firestorm surrounding Diddy. In a trial that has shaken the entertainment industry to its core, the Bad Boy Records founder now faces allegations not just of misconduct, but of horrifying crimes that reach into the realm of sex trafficking, coercion, racketeering, and organized abuse. While much of the spotlight has fallen on testimonies from his former partners and staff, a chilling resurfaced video from 2009 has pulled Justin Bieber, who was just 15 at the time, into the orbit of suspicion. The video in question captures a moment that, back then, might have seemed quirky or playful to the public. But through today's lens, especially in light of the mounting accusations, it feels deeply unsettling. In it, Diddy can be seen beaming beside the then baby-faced Bieber. "He's having 48 hours with Diddy," the mogul says into the camera with a smirk. "Where we hanging out and what we're doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream." Diddy continues, "I have been given custody of him. I don't really have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours he's with me, and we're gonna go buckfool crazy." What sounded like a fun, hyperbolic statement back in 2009 now sounds ominous. In the current climate, with Diddy being accused of running a decades-long operation of sexual exploitation, that footage hits differently. The public, already grappling with the shocking revelations surfacing in court, couldn't help but revisit Bieber's proximity to Diddy in his most formative years. The fact that this video was recorded when Justin was still a minor has only deepened the unease. It was more than just an older celebrity taking a young star under his wing. It was a moment that, re-examined with fresh eyes, seems to suggest inappropriate boundaries and an abuse of power. For days, social media swirled with speculation. Had Justin Bieber been one of Diddy's victims? Was his silence all these years a product of trauma, fear, or shame? As more and more celebrities began coming forward to either distance themselves from the embattled mogul or to speak out about their own encounters with him, Bieber's name kept getting pulled into the fray. Whispers turned to headlines. Fan. Theories evolved into widespread concern. Then, finally, came a statement. Not from Bieber himself, but from his representatives, attempting to clarify his connection to the controversy once and for all. In a statement to TMZ, his team addressed the elephant in the room head-on. Although Justin is not among Sean Combs' victims, there are individuals who were genuinely harmed by him. Shifting focus away from this reality detracts from the justice these victims rightfully deserve. The words were clear, direct, and firm, but they also opened a door to more complex emotions. On the one hand, Bieber denied any personal victimization. On the other hand, the statement acknowledged the truth of others' suffering. It was a careful balance, possibly intended to protect both his mental well-being and public image, while also giving credence to the mounting evidence against Diddy. But for many watching from the sidelines, it felt like a cry between the lines, one that suggests Bieber, whether victimized directly or not, was far too close to a man whose legacy is now crumbling under the weight of credible allegations. To fully grasp the implications, we need to consider the full scale of what Diddy is being accused of. Over the past year, a series of lawsuits, investigations, and witness testimonies have painted a picture so dark, so grotesque, that it challenges even the most jaded observer. No longer just the flashy rap mogul with a revolving door of champagne-fueled parties and platinum albums, Diddy is now at the center of one of the most explosive and damning scandals in modern entertainment history. Among the most chilling accusations are those made by Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex-girlfriend. Her lawsuit, filed in November 2023, sent shockwaves through the industry. In it, she didn't just accuse him of being controlling or emotionally abusive. She accused him of outright rape, physical assaults, manipulation, and psychological torture that allegedly spanned nearly a decade. According to Cassie, her relationship with Diddy was not a love story, but a survival story. A constant dance between the illusion of glamour and the shadow of abuse. Cassie detailed how Diddy allegedly coerced her into participating in what he called freak-offs, wild, drug-fueled sex parties that pushed boundaries and violated her consent. She claimed that these events weren't just spontaneous bacchanals, but orchestrated displays of power and control. Over time, she said, her health deteriorated. She suffered from chronic UTIs and mouth sores, which she claimed were side effects of the frequency and nature of the sexual activity she was forced to participate in. She spoke of emotional manipulation that kept her isolated and confused, and of fear that kept her silent. Perhaps most disturbing of all was her testimony regarding Diddy's violent temper and his obsessive need to control her relationships. According to Cassie, when he found out she was planning to attend Drake's OVO Fest, a major hip-hop and R&B event in Toronto, he lost it. She claimed he assaulted her in a fit of rage, convinced that she was going to meet other men behind his back. His jealousy, she said, knew no bounds. She recounted how he allegedly made threats against men she interacted with, including major names like Michael B. Jordan. His obsession with her wasn't rooted in love, but in ownership. Despite the gravity of her allegations, the case was settled privately within just 24 hours of being filed. That swift resolution raised eyebrows. Was it hush money? Was Cassie paid off to keep quiet? Or was she simply tired, worn down from years of reliving trauma, and ready to put the chapter behind her? We may never know the full truth. But what's become clear is that her lawsuit opened the floodgates. Since Cassie's bombshell, more and more individuals have stepped forward with their own stories. Some were former employees, others were partygoers, acquaintances, and even people who had worked with Diddy in a professional capacity. The common thread in many of these stories was eerily consistent: intimidation, manipulation, exploitation, and silence bought with money, threats, or both. In the courtroom, as Diddy faces the consequences of decades of alleged misconduct, Cassie's voice has remained one of the most powerful. This week, she once again took the stand, this time not in a civil lawsuit, but in front of a jury tasked with determining whether the music mogul's empire was built not just on beats and bravado, but on the broken lives of those he allegedly used and discarded. Her testimony was harrowing. She did not sugarcoat or shrink from the darkness of what she claimed to have endured. Every word she spoke cut through the courtroom like a blade. Every pause felt like the silence of years stolen. The image she painted of Diddy was not one of a misunderstood genius or an overworked executive. It was of a man who wielded his power recklessly, who used his wealth and status not to uplift, but to dominate. In that context, Bieber's early interactions with Diddy become all the more chilling. Even if Bieber was not directly harmed, as his team now insists, the fact that he was spending unsupervised time with a man now facing allegations of sex trafficking raises critical questions about the culture of the industry at large. How could a teenager be allowed to spend unsupervised weekends with an adult man known for throwing raucous parties? Where were the safeguards? Who was watching out for him? The music industry, much like Hollywood, has long been known for turning a blind eye to abuse, so long as the hits kept coming and the money kept flowing. Talented children are often handed over to powerful adults under the assumption that stardom is a worthy trade-off for oversight. But at what cost?